going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if there's one thing that is really torn within the Xdefiant community, I think that is the movement. But ladies and gentlemen, today, I think I pretty much figured out exactly why the movement is very annoying to a lot of players, and how we can pretty much resolve it for everybody across the board, and I think we can really find a perfect middle ground. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 morning Eastern Time. And of course, if you guys want to go ahead and check out any of my live streams, I'm going to be live today over on Twitch between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, I would say one of the current trends right now within Xdefiant is obviously ADS movement speed. And don't get me wrong, it is disgusting, as you can see right here on this new MP5 class that I literally threw together out of thin air. But all I focused on was literally just making sure ADS strafe movement speeds is maxed out. And my god, I mean, just for every gun across the board, it feels outstanding. Now, I will be honest, I don't do it all the time. I still do, mess around with my weapons to, hyper-focus them for recoil control sometimes. I like variety. I'm just a variety type of guy. But, the meta definitely pushes towards the ADS strafing speeds. And it makes sense. Even since the beginning of time, just think back to Modern Warfare 3, the OG, not the new one, Modern Warfare 3 OG. I mean, you tell me what Sweatlord wasn't rocking Stalker back in the day. I mean, there were some, don't get me wrong, there were some, including myself. I didn't always use Stalker, but it was so freaking overpowered. I mean, in the hands of a really experienced player, it puts in work. And honestly, it gets to a point where people who don't run those attachments or perks just look like stationary targets. That's why it became so useful. Because back in the day, let's be honest, it wasn't that insane movement. You can get a hop in or two. But the strafing is what helped out tremendously along with drop shotting, And all of that movement combined was extraordinarily useful. But when you put on Stalker, when it came to jumping, it wasn't really effective. You know what I'm saying? When you use Stalker in an OG classic Call of Duty game, it was good for grounded movement. But in Xdefiant, it's the opposite. Now, yes, we see video after video and a bunch of people talking about it. It's amazing for strafing speeds. But the main reason why you want to deck out ADS strafing speeds is not to strafe, but it's to air strafe while being stationary, basically. All those insane gunfights that people run into, the ones that, really piss off the community, where, someone could just be standing still, and then out of nowhere, they're to the right, left, and then back and middle, without even, touching the ground again. Those gunfights are driving a lot of players just mental. But it's a reason it's happening, and it's a reason that you aren't able to do it. A lot of these players are saying, well, I can't mimic that. This makes no sense. Are they cheating? No. They are using ADS strafe speed attachments. That is how they're doing it. Because in Xdefiant, it doesn't just affect your base movement on the ground while you're strafing back and forth while ADSing. It also affects how far you can jump from a stationary spot to another. And you can imagine while chaining this, not just while stationary, but while running around and getting into engagements and, doing your thing, if you can be stationary and jump far with ADS strafe speed attachments, you could definitely do it just, out of the blue in the middle of combat as well. You could do it whenever you want. And it creates that that wild movement that a lot of players are just not so satisfied with. I mean, I even have a little bit of some footage here to showcase to you guys the difference when it comes to what attachments you're using on your guns. But as you guys can see right here, I try to measure it out a little bit by, where the end piece of the wood is on the closest one and, the end piece on the far back piece of wood. And it's just simply a massive difference between the two builds, not only with, obviously, strafe speeds on the ground, but you could tell that it keeps up while you're jumping. Not even straight. You're not moving your feet. You're just jumping from one point to the other. And one of these weapons allow you to get such a good boost, a good distance. And what people don't understand is that it might not look crazy on your end, but it looks absolutely berserk on the opposing end. And again, all of those occurrences that people are seeing and getting annoyed with, this is why. It's no cheats, no speed hacks. It's just simply because ADS strafe movement speeds transfer over to when you B-hop as well within this game, or jump shot. People get so angry at the terms. The terminology is so important to a lot of people nowadays. Who cares? Whenever you're jumping in the game, okay? it severely affects the outcome. Now, I gotta be honest, this isn't that insane of a deal to me because, I don't really find it that harsh to, kill an opponent who's doing that as long as you position yourself well and you have good crosshair placement. I mean, you could pretty much beam whoever. But again, it is a problem. We cannot deny it is a fact that people just simply don't enjoy when people play like that. But a lot of individuals are blaming it on how many times you can jump. But even if you reduce it down to like 3, you will still be able to have that insane momentum. Shoot, even drop it down to 2. Someone can still go from a stationary spot and fling themselves to the right and still fly backwards to the left, and just in thin air. That movement is still going to happen. It does not matter how many times you nerf it. This is going to be the cause. Again, if it can't be changed, if what I say here is just stupid and is not logical, then, so be it, right? If it has to stay, it has to stay. But I'm going to try to throw out a solution here, a possible middle ground that we can find here. Because I don't want to see air strafing completely removed whatsoever. I actually enjoy that technique, especially when it comes to, when you actually have the high ground, like if you're on a high set of stairs or like, Dumbo, the top section by the catwalk, and you jump off and stuff like that. I don't mind, being able to curve a little bit. I think that's cool. And I also really enjoy when you get into a hot engagement and you have a little bit of momentum, you can slide, jump, and you can kind of B-hop just a little bit with a couple of hops and, kind of air strafe around, but you're not ADSing, right? You're just, if you hit fire, you're not going to hit anybody. You're just doing this to kind of mess up some people's aim, and then you ADS and engage, and at that point, it's pretty much an equal fight. But again, with this, ability, it kind of alters that. But when you're strafing, I think that should be a bit more grounded. So again, here's my proposal. Maybe reduce, the speed at which you jump when you have these attachments equipped. So basically, when you go ahead and equip all of these ADS, strafe speed attachments, they don't necessarily dictate, when you're jumping. Again, I don't know if this could be possible. I don't know if this could be coded. But if you could potentially find a way to be able to, once again, only have that stat track for while your feet are on the ground, that could be huge. And again, it doesn't have to be massively nerfed, because I know that'll feel really awkward if you're jumping off a staircase, you're not ADSing, and then all of a sudden you ADS and then you slow down a bit. You don't have to chunk it all the way down and make it non-existent. But even just the slightest little nerf would be welcome, in my personal opinion. It wouldn't be too much that it kills the passion and love that the hardcore audience has for this game, and what the developers have formed here. But it's enough to at least allow some players who literally just can't stand that visual effect to be able to hop back into the game and enjoy the overall experience as well. But again, if none of this stuff can happen, then my only other suggestion to you guys is give it a shot. The recoil in this game isn't that shabby, guys. It really isn't bad. It's like God, these games don't have insane, recoil patterns that you really necessarily have to, burn into your brain in order to be a skilled player. Not even in the slightest. A lot of these weapons, even SMGs, especially the SMGs, but obviously this technique works for pretty much everything, even ARs. You can get a nice amount of momentum while you're air strafing back and forth, ADS. But SMG's perfect, man, perfect. If you put on all of these attachments, man, you will be flying around opponents. And again, it won't look like that. It realistically won't look like that on your screen. But to them, it is a complete different story. Again, everything that you are potentially angry with, that could be done back. It's not impossible. But ladies and gentlemen, again, these are just my ideas here. Go down in the comments section. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think air strafing should just be completely removed? Or do you think, like me, it should just be kind of tuned, a bit around the stats of ADS strafe speeds? Or, of course, if you have any other different ideas to help balance everything out, leave them down below. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And, of course, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I'll be live today over on Twitch between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.